Forgotten, overlooked, and almost inconsequential. No, I'm not talking about the pussycat dolls. I am talking about our Orang Asli community. From education to housing to life expectancy, they seem to lag far behind the rest of us Malaysians. And while we are vaguely aware of this, they are almost never in the spotlight. Until election time. That's right. The Cameron Highlands by-election is happening next week after the election court held that BN was giving money to voters, inducing them to vote for their candidate in the previous round. And now, everyone wants to be friends with the Orang Asli. Why? Because Orang Asli make up 22% of the voters in this constituency, so their vote is crucial. BN is fielding ex-senior police officer Ramli Muhammad Noor, who happens to be from the Orang Asli community. So far, it has yet to make a big misstep. Whereas Pakatan, first, its candidate M. Monogaran trashed BN's strategy for fielding an Orang Asli candidate. His rationale? The Malays don't even buy kuih from Orang Asli. Why would they vote for one? Chinese and Indians wouldn't vote for an Orang Asli either. That's just round one. Round two, coercion. PKR Senator Bob Manolan Mohamad was caught on tape reminding the Tok Batins, or village chiefs, whose payroll they're on. And if they don't support the Pakatan government, they risk losing their jobs, which is bringing in a salary of between 900 to 1,200 ringgit. Okay, so they've apologized. Tian Chua also waded in, saying sorry for the unintended careless statements. But here's the thing. These are not mere campaign hiccups. These statements are a true reflection, not just of their speakers' true beliefs, but also of how politics has always worked here. After all, until last year, the racial card and economic coercion has always seemed to work. But this is Malaysia Baru. Or so we think. Yet, this is how we treat our original Malaysians? May I remind our politicians from both sides of the divide that Orang Asli, despite being here first, they are our most marginalized group. Malaysia's official poverty rate stands at just 0.4% as of 2016. Yet, Muhammad Abdul Khalid, who is the founder of DM Analytics, told The Edge that poverty stands at 33% among Orang Asli. That's even higher than the 20% rate among Sabah Bumiputra and 7% among the Sarawak Bumiputra. At 33%, that's almost equivalent to the poverty rate of Malaysia 35 years ago. 1 in 3 Orang Asli makes less than 1,000 ringgit a month, compared to 1 in 10 of average Malaysians. That's also because most of them only have primary education. About 1 in 4 don't make it to secondary school, and only 20 graduate from university each year. Reasons for the high dropout rate? Heck, getting to and back from school every day is like a Spartan race. That's not all. Orang Asli children are so malnourished, they can't even survive treatable diseases like pneumonia or even a simple diarrhea. Which explains why the EPU said in a report last year that about 20% of their children below 5 years old are stunted. Meanwhile, basic infrastructure like steady supply of electricity, water, telco services and roads are still considered luxuries. Now, just 2 days ago, NST reported that the Orang Asli in Cameron Highlands have handphones, but they rarely bring them out because there's no signal. So, if someone needs urgent medical help, his friend or family member would have to climb hills, cross the river and walk quite a distance, just so they can get a signal strong enough to make that important call. Meanwhile, we have companies encroaching Orang Asli customary land, where communities farm and raise livestock. According to the Malaysian Insight, it's so bad in Cameron Highlands that the Orang Asli have no space to build homes and even bury their dead. And even when the Orang Asli have a little space, like in Gua Musang, they live in fear of boulders rolling down the slopes and displace wild animals as logging, mining and land clearing activities destroy the jungles surrounding their settlement. When people have so little, it doesn't take much to make their lives miserable. Which is why Bersih points out that Bob Manolan's boss threat underlies exactly the perils of when village and community leadership are not elected but appointed. Ultimately, it is a form of electoral corruption because appointees representing government parties get to build support by monopolizing government resources and dispensing favours. And might I remind you, Pakatan promised to revive local elections in their manifesto. Yusri Ahon, president of Jaringan Orang Asal se Malaysia, is not impressed. He said Pakatan government has done nothing for the community since winning the polls last year. Arguably, it hasn't even been 1 year since Pakatan took over as government. And it's not like they haven't done anything at all. During Budget 2019, they announced an allocation of 100 million ringgit for the development and welfare of the Orang Asli. Oh, plus, there will be a national Orang Asli conference to discuss and formulate a blueprint to uplift the community. Now, whether that's enough to start with, the jury is still out. Meanwhile, DAP veteran Lim Kit Siang, he himself recently experienced the plight of the Orang Asli when he was trapped at one of the kampong during New Year's Eve, cut off from all access to the outside world. He also had to drive through a river despite the strong current to reach a village. As he puts it, this experience, the first in 77 years of his life, inspired him to, and I quote, wipe out Orang Asli poverty, backwardness, and isolation after 6 decades of nation building. Thing is, the fact that Orang Asli in Cameron Highlands, or anywhere else for that matter, needs help isn't breaking news. Whatever the intention of both BN and Pakatan, leaving the Orang Asli in the dust as the rest of Malaysia marches forward is not an option. Now, I know that all over the world people treat their indigenous badly, whether it's Australia or the States. Why can't we strive to be different? You want to talk about inclusive and equitable development? Let's get rid of Malaysia Lama. Let's stop talking and start doing. Just saying.